Welcome to a very special Bladtcast 665, which means strange things may be afoot for our next episode. But for right now, we follow up our previous episode, which was a tribute to Ace Frehley, by talking about Bruce Springsteen. Because, yeah, some people like a wide range of rock music, myself included. And I was excited to find out that a number of people that I knew saw the recent Bruce Springsteen biopic, Deliver Me From Nowhere, based on the book. And we will talk about that with quite the collection of people. I would say this is an all-star lineup, this panel. And coming back to the show for the first time in a while, from north of the border, Medicine Hat's own Dan Reynish. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good day, sir. How are you doing? Nice to see you in a vintage Bruce Springsteen tour tee. Good to see
right.
that.
This is for the River, the first time, not the time that I saw the River tour in 2016, but I appreciate that. And keeping the international flair going, from Ireland, the one, the only Adam Hughezy, the H-man Hughes, who thank you for deciding to talk to you about music other than Oasis, Hughezy. I appreciate it.
Yes, but I'd like to just start off by pointing out that Oasis are better than Bruce Springsteen. But I'd like to say fingers crossed and hope that this episode isn't boring in the USA. Get it?
Oh, we get it.
just to keep in with the merchandise thing, I'm wearing my Wu-Tang Clan hoodie.
That's
which
good.
Is inspired by Bruce Springsteen's insistent lies that he is into rap music.
I think that he's into all sorts of things. And representing the Garden State, the great state of New Jersey, Bergen County's own, Bill Narducci, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And look, friend of Hughezy and myself, Little Lemmy, calls us LOL dorks. I think that's you, though. I don't think she's talking about me. And Dan, we lost your camera. I don't know if you're still there or if you're reconnecting. So I think he's.
I guess you could say that Dan is in the darkness on the edge of town. I was going.
That's true.
That is true, which is certainly one of many things that we will talk about, because I want to talk about this movie. And the way for me to talk about this movie is that I think it is a good movie. You can ask some questions about some factual information, but to me, there's no way that this has a broad appeal for people who aren't kind of Bruce super fans. If you're a casual Bruce fan, this may not necessarily even speak to you. And I could be wrong. I enjoyed it. Hughezy, I know you may have, you went in a little cautiously because you felt like you were going to be sitting there, fact checking back at the screen as Deliver Me From Nowhere started. And but my understanding is you at least enjoyed it for the most part, right?
Yeah, I really liked it, but I get burnt with the Bohemian Rhapsody film because I love Queen, but that's the least factual biopic I've ever seen. Like, it might as well have been set on an alien planet, because like Queen broke up in the film, and I actually took out my Wikipedia. I actually had a massive book with me, but I had opened up my phone and looked it up during the film. Queen never broke up.
Yeah. So the whole point, and I don't want to get down the rabbit hole because I did not enjoy that movie for a variety of reasons. One of which being you could watch that movie and not walk away from it realizing that Freddie Mercury was gay. But the big breakup that happens before Live Aid, they were on tour. They were sorry, no spoilers. No spoilers for you.
Spoilers.
So the idea that they were broken up and they got back together for Live Aid. No, they had been on tour like 2 months earlier. And then they took a break, and then they did Live Aid. And as proud as they were of recreating the Live Aid performance, it was completely unnecessary because you can go on YouTube and watch the Live Aid performance. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Deliver Me From Nowhere. So you felt burned by that. So did you think that Bruce was just going to have really bright white capped teeth throughout the whole movie? What were you most concerned about them getting wrong?
Well, the thing that I was worried about going into this is that I love Bruce Springsteen, but he's full of crap. Like when
I mean, like many artists, sure.
Yeah, no, he's got this real habit of talking without actually saying anything, and this whole I'm a working man and I'm just a man of the people. When you consider these days, if you want to see him, it's maybe $500. That's American money, by the way, guys.
Thank you for making the adjustment in your head. Let's not do it in Canadian dollars. That's
700 Canadian.
700.
Yeah.
See, we already got to it. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, because this one was specifically about the making of Nebraska, it really all falls down on your opinion on Nebraska. And for me, I like songs on it, but it's probably one of his albums I listen to the least.
Yeah, I would say that I enjoy live versions of songs from Nebraska more than I enjoy digging out Nebraska. In fact, that is the fun thing about, Bruce concerts are widely out there. I know it's a hot take. It's breaking news, but yeah, I think that the idea that this movie would be about the making of Nebraska, and that a major plot point was going to be that Mark Maron needs to figure out how to get those cassettes burned onto vinyl. And look, as a nerd, I'm kind of interested in it, but I'm just like, oh wow, all right, they're really going here. Which, look, I would much rather see Mark Maron doing that than talking about other comedians. So I appreciate that.
That's Mark
popular. Someone's popular. And speaking of popular, the fifth member of our panel, the great Ryan Nilsen, representing the state of Delaware, the first state. Thank you for being here, sir.
I'm so sorry for the delay and my tardiness. Thank you so much for having me.
Ryan, could you tell us the name of the band on your jacket, please?
Oh, this is Oasis.
That's
wow.
right.
So that's, yeah. So our friend Hughezy started off by saying that Oasis are better than Bruce Springsteen, but he'll talk about Bruce anyway. And yes. So I want to, we're sort of starting with this overall idea. Bill, I want to ask you next sort of your expectations going into this movie and what you thought, what you thought as you watched it.
It was pretty good. It's like an 8.5. They got the Born in the USA story wrong. He did get the name from Paul Schrader, who was doing that movie Light of Day, and that's why he gave him that song. But, Scott Cooper's awesome. I mean, that Whitey Bulger movie was great.
Sure.
He did the movie about the Jackson Whites in Ramapo Mountains. That was awesome. Yeah, it was an 8.5. He's pretty good.
Yeah, do you agree though that this isn't a biopic that has wide appeal? If you're like, oh, I have Bruce Springsteen's greatest hits, you might want to skip it, or do you think that the movie?
I think it would be like a foreign movie if you have Bruce Springsteen's greatest hits. But John Landau, that was a perfect impersonation. I mean, Jeremy Strong was absolutely the best part of the movie, I thought.
I agree. I thought he was tremendous. Dan, how did you feel seeing Bruce up on the big screen there?
First off, to Hughesy's point, it wasn't a documentary. Just like Bohemian Rhapsody was not a documentary. It's a movie. It's a movie. It's a movie. Wait a minute. What was that point I wanted to make? It's a movie. It's a motion picture. It's made to entertain people. And I was entertained by it, but they cast the absolute wrong actress to play the love interest. There's no way in the world that any character in any movie would have been so smitten by her. Oh, and wait a minute, she has a kid too. Here's this rock star on the precipice of being on top of the world, and he's falling in love with a character who's a waitress who's really nice but not great. Oh, and she has a kid. It was like there's no way that he would have fallen for that actress. And I realized she was a composite because it's a movie. But
so what you're saying is that it's a movie. It was a book before it was a movie, though, Dan.
Yeah, it was a great book, a very interesting book, and there was no composite love interest in the book at all. But it was a very interesting movie. I mean, I knew going in that it was debuting on streaming December 3rd, and the soundtrack that had Jeremy Allen White singing on it was coming out December 3rd as well. So it wasn't, the studio never thought it was going to make much money, and it's hovering barely in the top 10 now after making about $20 million. It was a movie made for and by Bruce Springsteen fans. That's why Bruce was, to Hughesy's point, on set every day, making sure his version of the story was told. And I liked it. I didn't love it. It's not one that I will watch repeatedly. I just watched the movie set in London by the name is escaping me now. I just rewatched. Yes, James Bond. No, the Bruce Springsteen movie about the Springsteen fan who's in London.
Why can't I remember the name of that?
Blinded by the Lights.
Yeah, there's
Blinded by the Light. Yeah,
I have the book of that one.
Rewatched that one. Yeah, I just rewatched that one. Yeah, and that's a movie that I'll watch over and over again if I need a Bruce fix and I don't just want to watch one of the concerts. But Deliver Me from Evil, Deliver Me from Nowhere, not a great film, not for anybody who doesn't have a Bruce Springsteen t-shirt on right now. Oasis hoodie, jacket notwithstanding. But it was a movie, and it was good, and it made its $20 million, and that was all that it was really ever expected to make.
So from a marketability and expectation standpoint, it was a real Nebraska of a movie, is what I think.
It absolutely was, which is why Bruce went on every talk show, including Graham Norton in the UK, to promote it. I mean, you had Jeremy Allen White sitting there next to Bruce, and all Jeremy could do was defer to Bruce. It was like, wow, yeah, man, he was on set every day, and it was great to have him there, and he really held my. It was just like, blah. That's why Bruce. Cameron Crowe worked very, very, very hard to promote Vanilla Sky when it came out because he knew it was a dud, and Bruce knew that this movie wasn't going to make very much money, which is why he promoted it everywhere.
I used to work with someone who made a film called this is I'm going to keep his identity anonymous, but he did a film called Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. And he knew exactly what that film was. Again, I'm not going to say his name. We
all know his name.
No, I know, that's the joke. And he really pounded the pavement to promote it because he felt like that he at least owed them that much because they gave him way too much money. Yeah. The comment you were making was when the first person I knew who had seen it was Hughezy. So I traded messages with him about this is interesting that we're spending this time of dealing with Bruce handling his depression and just all this trauma from earlier in his life, and the only thing that he can find to make it go away is a New Jersey 6. I see, and Hughezy laughed again, so that's why I get it out there. Bill, I felt like you were about to say something before I jumped to.
Well, that movie, was it Blinded by the Light?
Yeah,
they say that Bruce's hometown was Asbury Park, and so all fans just went like that in the theater. It was crazy.
Oh, you mean in that movie though?
Yeah. It's Freehold. It was everyone's like, what is going on? Nice research there, buddy boy.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want to feel like they were giving free advertising to the Freehold Raceway Mall on Route 9. But I understand what you're saying. I think that that's
a great mall, by the way. Great mall. Good cut.
Yeah. You believe it or not, it has a hot topic. Ryan, what did you think? I believe you also read the book, right, Ryan?
I did read the book. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us your thought about the translation from book to screen and your overall thoughts on the screen version.
There were a bunch of changes, and it is an adaptation. But I think what was interesting about this movie was I thought the appeal of this movie was sort of the mental health side of things, where I think we've always kind of known he dealt with depression. And the book touches on it a tiny bit, but the trailer of this movie, and I think the whole proposal of this movie was we're going to go head on to that. And I think even the appeal of Bruce being on set, in my opinion, that was what was interesting to me. And I also think when you get a guy like Scott Cooper, who, to be honest, I'm not a fan of his. I think his movies are incredibly bleak. I don't ever really find any connection to the characters that strong, but he makes adult movies. He makes movies that adults go to see, I just think your mileage varies. So I was really skeptical when they announced him being the director, just because I didn't want it to just be like a bleak, kind of long movie where I don't really connect to the main guy. But since I'm a huge Bruce fan,
just to interject for a second, this movie's pretty bleak, though, isn't it?
Pretty bleak.
Yeah. Okay.
No, like all my worries were kind of realized, but I'm still a huge fan, so I did like it. I just I think that the tricky thing with this movie is some of the flashbacks just really don't work for the most part. I think like after a while you get it, like well we get it, but you after you see the same flashback like 7 times, like they weren't adding anything after a while. It was very repetitive, and I thought that was going to be like the movie's superpower. Like, oh, wait, we're going to learn a new thing here. And actually, but there's, I'm not saying that they were pointless. Like, they definitely, like, the scene.
But they might have belabored the point, is what you're saying.
They belabored the point a little bit. So overall, I mean, I found this to be, it was an emotional watch, just because I've always wanted to see a Bruce Springsteen biopic. But I think it was also a little frustrating in that, like, it kind of, the whole premise felt very, oh, this is not a traditional music biopic, but then it ended up feeling like a traditional music biopic. And I thought that the strongest parts of it, though, I think some other members of the panel mentioned this, every scene with him and oh my God, every scene with him and Jeremy Allen Strong. Jeremy Strong and Jeremy Allen White were incredible. Like, I actually think this movie should have just fully been about him and his relationship with his manager.
100%, absolutely.
Because the friendship dynamic, I also feel like that's a thing in a lot of music biopics. That's a little bit of a cliche where, oh, the manager just wants like the money and like is gonna sacrifice.
So what you're saying is Colonel Tom Parker wasn't such a bad guy. Okay, all right, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I'm just saying, but like there were some really powerful, like the most powerful scene in the whole movie by like a mile for me was after he drives to LA and he calls. He calls them and he's like, this is out of my depth. I'm going to get you help. Like, it kind of goes to show if you have like the right people in your corner, like, and you're a great artist, you can make amazing things. And also like you get the help you need. Like, he was a genuine friend of his. I thought they nailed that. They touched on that in the book a lot. Like, oh yeah, he really talks about how like they were genuine friends, like really supportive of each other, and I thought they nailed that. And I just wish that was more of the movie. It almost felt like it was trying to bite off way more than it could chew, and then since it was covering so much, it never really felt like it was sinking its teeth into much. But the book adaptation, like it was a good adaptation. I just don't think it dove into the things I wish it did, and it also sacrificed some stuff that was really confusing to me. Like, an example of something that they really didn't adapt, the scene where he drives across the country with his friend. We don't even, in the movie, they don't even give us that guy's name. He's there twice. No idea what his name is. We don't have any details about him. In the book, that guy, like childhood friend, he also just went through a breakup, and there's like a beautiful scene in the book where he's like, oh, I have a teddy bear. It's like kind of his like support animal for the drive. So they're kind of like both going through something at the same time. And in this, he's just kind of a driver and you never get his name. And then
I mean, you sit there and you watch this and you just think it's Timu Jack Black is basically what you've been given. We don't know that much, but I feel like there's probably an extended cut where we get to know him more. And there's maybe other albums that Mark Maron is able to successfully transfer from cassette onto vinyl. Things like that. By the way, the Tom Gully show, I wish I could have been there when Bruce told the E Street Band, yeah, we're just doing the album with the crap I put on my 4-track recorder. It's like, yeah. And I like that they have that sequence with Born in the USA. And like, oh, yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, though.
Here's an interesting take. The next time you watch the movie, if you watch it again, Jeremy Strong's performance, Martin Short was once asked how he does such a great impression of Jerry Lewis. And what Martin Short said was he imagined Jerry talking with a lozenge in his mouth. And so it's like he's always got the lozenge going back and forth and that sort of thing. And that's how he's doing that. That's what I was thinking when I watched Jeremy Strong doing John Landau. Is I imagined him with a lozenge in his mouth, trying to do an impression of John Landau. Great performance, yes. And again, to Ryan's point, it would have been tremendous to see the movie just be about Bruce and John Landau. But it bordered on comic for a while for me, just because of that Martin Short reference that I mentioned. So it was very interesting, and we're all in the Bruce Springsteen business, just like we all are on this Bladtcast at number 665.
Yeah, but not 666. By the way, I don't know if this is really the Adam Bush, but Hughezy, speaking of people that sound like they have a lozenge in their throat, you saw Bob Dylan the other day. And Adam Bush wants to know, there's any truth to the rumor that you walked Bob Dylan to the stage in Belfast? I didn't know you lived in Belfast. I think he's trying to dox you.
He did. Yeah, last night I went to see Bob Dylan, and I ran up on stage and we duetted on, Angel in the Centerfold, and we all had a great time, and we crushed beers, and Bob Dylan yelled the N-word into the mic, which I thought was really inappropriate. I was like, don't say that.
Yeah. Well, nuclear is what we know of as that word here. Yeah, in the U.S.
But
go ahead.
One of the things about the film that I thought was really weird that they left out was, so it's usually him recording the album into this tape recorder, basically. But Atlantic City, the song, has 2 tracks. So how did you do that?
That's a great point. So, yeah, I guess they went in and redid that. So you're saying it's perhaps factually inaccurate, and maybe Mark Maron didn't work as hard as this movie made me think he did. And I know.
I'm sorry. What's the constant Mark Maron reference? I can't stand Mark Maron. So what?
He's in this movie. He's in this.
Oh,
movie.
That's right. He's
the guy who worked. Yeah, he's in the studio. And they're like,
for like 3 minutes.
That's kind of the point. All he does is he takes the shitty cassette and gets it burned onto vinyl, and then we watch the vinyl being burned. And again, kind of a nerd, I like that stuff, but I'm like, who's this for? Mark Maron's real.
I'm so glad they didn't have Bruce focusing on more of his Born in the USA songs, but instead we got some sweet IMAX footage of music being converted onto another format. Like that's what I paid for.
Yeah.
It was crazy that this movie was, on IMAX screens. When
was it actually?
Yeah, I mean, read the poster, Ryan.
Get out of here!
And I think that it really kicked Tron Ares out, which is one of Hughesy's favorite films of the year.
I actually said to the manager of the cinema in the lobby, I said, I haven't seen this film yet, but if there's no scenes of vinyl conversion, I want a refund. And I actually had to pay. Yeah, I actually had to pay twice when I left. I was like, so I got what I paid for.
Tom Gully's show chimes in again. The Depression, only a rock star with a fanatical following that worships him can know. And then he does add, the end credits should have read, 2 years later, Bruce snapped out of his depression when he started nailing Julianne Phillips. So thank you, Tom Gully, for being such a vocal part of the show.
Deep cuts.
Well, that's this episode, like the movie, is for the true believers. Bill,
I think this is the episode. I think this is the episode that breaks the Bladtcast wide for you, man.
We're on 3 channels right now, so I think this is really going to be get us into the stratosphere. It took 665.
Yeah, people didn't go see the movie, but they're like, I want to see 5 guys talk about it for an hour.
Yeah. By the way, I find this to be unkind.
I know.
I don't even know. I don't even want to read that one. Yeah. I think that might be somebody pretending to be someone else is the reason why I brought that one up.
When you include this wallpaper Christian chose plus us 5, there's literally more people on screen right now than actually bought tickets to go see the film.
Whoa!
I think that's fairly accurate. I heard recently, that there's this Michael Jackson biopic that's planned, and they're thinking about breaking it into 2 movies, and the first movie would end with Off the Wall being released, and I'm like, No, I'm not interested in that. I've seen the behind the music about the Jackson 5. Let's not have the part where he's a superstar. Let's look, there's a part of his life that maybe they don't want to make a movie out, but we're talking about thriller to maybe dangerous.
That would be thrilling.
Movie. What's
No.
that?
No.
Yeah. No.
But the problem with that one is, and much like the Springsteen film, is that the Michael Jackson estate have final cut over
the Queen movie.
I don't know if it's just like the Springsteen movie.
No. But it's in the way.
I don't know if the impact of that is as
What they're doing for the Michael Jackson film is mimicking what Universal did for Wicked. So the first one is just called Michael. Then the second film will be Michael for Good.
It's a Wicked story. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one's called Michael. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
All right.
This makes up
for the earlier comment, by the way. Captain EO is good, I believe.
It is good. Yeah.
I think that the fact that we never got a feature film of Captain EO. But so related to the comment in the chat earlier, Bill, he is already, he's still on his way up, but he's at least established. This is early 1980s. Would you have wanted a traditional Bruce story from like the clubs to then becoming the superstar, or did you think it was an interesting choice to let's just take this one little sliver that may or may not be interesting to most audiences? What did you think about the choice of we're going to just focus?
Yeah, it'd be too cumbersome to do the entire story.
Yeah,
and so I'm glad that it was born in the USA. And, everyone loves Nebraska. So as an artist, I think that, Nebraska's Tom Cruise's favorite Bruce Springsteen album. That just shows you the reach that this album has. So, I think that they knew that no one really goes to the movies anymore. And so I think they took a big swing, but it's better than the young Bruce Springsteen movie that we all wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I that probably wouldn't have been great. Although, the auditions for young Clarence would have really been something to see. But
yes, exactly. Who would play young Clarence?
Jake Clemens is the only person I can think of, actually.
Leslie Jones.
It's funny they took so much time casting the band, and Scott Cooper and Jeremy Allen White and even Bruce Springsteen have all spoken in interviews about the fact that they got the casting of the band right. I think the movie would have benefited from a scene where Danny Federici was asking Bruce for more money, but we didn't get to see hardly any of the band, and the young Clarence was there shaking the tambourine when they were playing Born in the USA. But there's so many ways that the movie could have benefited from, but then it would be a 3-hour movie and it wasn't going to make more than 20 or 30 million anyway. So it was, I think Scott Cooper made the movie that he wanted to make. For me, again, as Ryan said, the flashbacks, and especially the flashback where the father almost hit the kid, was like, we know that didn't happen. But to use my point, yes, it was a movie, but it was like Bruce's father was just mentally ill. He wasn't physically violent toward his kid, and so there was many ways to have made it a better movie. But for me, the inclusion of more about the band and that dynamic, that's a whole movie right there. I'd love to see that movie.
I did think that you're reminding me of the scene when Bruce goes out to L.A. and he finds his dad wandering around Chinatown. I did find that to be some of the best in-depth character work in there, because it's not about capital R rock star Bruce Springsteen. I found that part to be very touching, and I think it told a lot more than the flashbacks did. But I think we're in agreement that the flashbacks were necessary, but I am with Ryan that we didn't need quite so many of them. Plus, no. I get confused when we switch to black and white. I thought that I was watching the first real Wizard of Oz. So,
back to the Wicked reference.
Yep, exactly.
I thought that with the flashbacks, that because I don't read no stinking books. So I didn't know much about specifically what the childhood trauma was. So when we discovered that his childhood trauma was that once his dad criticized how Bruce Springsteen threw a boxing jab as a child, I thought, well, Bruce is a bitch then.
Well,
Get over it.
Yeah, I mean he's one step away from growing up to become Daredevil, and that's for the nerds out there in the chat. By the way, the one pun. When do we get the Gigi Allen biopic with Tom Holland?
I'm in. Absolutely. Good one.
Yeah, thank you. The one pun, but
Although it'd probably be Timothy Chalamet who plays Gigi Allen.
Yeah, that is much more likely. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that would be interested in maybe giving the movie another watch. I don't know that I have the time for that, but it's hard to recommend to anybody. Like we were saying at the top of the show. Like I have friends who are hardcore Bruce fans. They're all from New Jersey, believe it or not. I know it's shocking, but I'd be like, you might like it. But in general, if there's ever a movie that I was relieved that I went to see by myself while my wife stayed at home and got some work done, it would be this one because she'd be like, "Would you bring me to?" But I do like, listen, you can think what you want about Oliver Stone's The Doors, but I thought Val Kilmer, actually singing those songs is a tremendous part of that. Jeremy Allen White actually singing. And it is interesting. I did think the same thing you mentioned, Dan. I didn't realize that maybe it was so calculated. As like, well, why was the soundtrack like not out till long after the movie was, unfortunately out of theaters pretty much. But I don't know. I'd be interested in hearing those. That's more of a, wander over on a Spotify playlist. I don't think I would actually buy the vinyl of the Deliver Me From Nowhere soundtrack, but I don't know, Hughezy, I know how you feel about physical media, but that's just for movies, right?
Yeah, I just think that this is Bruce Springsteen giving the finger to the audience because he's like, oh, all those rumors about the Born in the USA 40th anniversary tour and box set that was coming out. Well, no, here's Jeremy Allen White singing it instead. And that's what really drives me nuts. Like, why we didn't get that any form. Yeah, the only thing you can buy to celebrate the anniversary of one of the biggest albums ever is a $90 hoodie off his website that's completely white. And it just says Born in the USA in the corner up around the titty. I just thought that it's just give us what we want.
So that's not what you wanted, is what you're saying.
No, but I have to say, because Dan mentioned there being a longer version, in the trailer, there's a lot of extra footage and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a thing where Landau does that, the monologue about when Bruce was born, there was a hole in his room. And not in the walls. And he says he spent his whole life trying to fix that hole. It's like, well, we didn't get to see any of that hole talk in the film. We just got some awesome vinyl footage.
Whole talk.
Yeah. Again, Tom Gully, a Bruce Springsteen movie without at least an appearance of Southside Johnny, sacrilege. There was that guy in that other band that we saw a few times. So, who needed Southside Johnny?
I'm more disappointed there wasn't a Joe Grzycki cameo. I mean, where the heck is Joe Grzycki? Come on.
I wanted to see a young John Bon Jovi in the audience going, wow, I'm going to do this when I grew up, only really shit.
Hey, he's going back out on tour, Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi hasn't been able to sing for 10 years. It's like seeing Rush. Geddy Lee can't sing anymore, but at least Bruce sounds good. And Jeremy Allen White singing Bruce's songs, he sounded pretty good. I mean, he wasn't exact, but I thought he sounded pretty good.
I might know some people that would say that John Bon Jovi hasn't been able to sing for 40 years, but what were you going to say, Hughezy?
Yeah, but my whole thing is I really love the TV show that Jeremy Allen White's in, The Bear.
Yes.
But this just felt like a special episode of The Bear in that he was really, and there was loads of like musical, not monologues, but montages of him like intensely staring off into the distance while a non-album single plays, and I just thought, so this is The Bear? This is Bear Springsteen. There's the highlight for the trailer.
I did it very deliberately and slowly. Who was about to jump in? Was that you, Ryan?
No, I was going to say, like, it is interesting that Jeremy Allen White, there are similarities, I think, with the performances and the characters where you're just like quiet, acting, deep. It's very emotional. Clearly, like there's the mental health thing of the bear in this. I do think he does sound amazing in this. I will say, like, he was incredible. I thought his performance was fantastic. I hear you on the exact thing. I don't even know exactly what I want from a music biopic with the main character. Like I don't know if I want them to do an impression and sound just like them or do their own thing, kind of like Timothée Chalamet, Bob Dylan last year. But I mean, if you turn on the I'm on Fire, like, and you just close your eyes, you shuffle between the actual song and the one they did for this movie, I actually don't know if you can tell. It really is like pretty close. I was blown away by that. I think in the credits at the bottom, it says all the songs that he recorded. Okay. And it is sort of, it's kind of amazing. I just don't know, like, you know, I think we're kind of like, we're all kind of saying the same thing with that. This is just like a weird movie to be the first Bruce Springsteen movie, in my opinion. Like, it's, yes, it is an interesting story about Nebraska. And this movie did make me appreciate that album more, and so did the book. But, like, I don't know if I this felt like the sequel to another movie, or it felt like I was hopping in the middle of the bear. I didn't see season 1. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this should have been the first story we get from Bruce Springsteen. And
should you like watch this as like an intermission in the middle of his Broadway show, the version filmed on Netflix, not the version that I saw in person? That's right. But I think, Dan, I think you saw it in person too, right?
I did, yeah.
So we're better than everyone
in person
else.
Than it was
way better than on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Much better in person.
Right.
But yeah, it is such an incomplete part of the story. And you know, the two films we've referenced, the Queen movie, I believe that Hughezy, I'd be saying it in your slang if I called it shite. As a kid, I liked the Doors movie. Obviously, there's some problems with it. Those are at least complete stories. You know, this is such a small part. But I also feel like, well, this is probably the Bruce movie we're going to get because of the lack of success. Although I did enjoy the Western Stars film where they were doing all the songs out in that barn that he has out in Jersey. So that was a Bruce Springsteen movie, but not in the sense that we're talking about. I want to give everybody any chance for final thoughts before we move on to the second half of our conversation. So Ryan, because you politely raised your hand, I'll ask.
I was just going to say, I want to comment on the success of it or the lack of, because I've like seen a few articles that have just kind of pointed out like, oh, who's going to go see this movie? All his fans are in New Jersey. Like, what do they think was going to happen? I don't think that that's the case at all. I mean, this is a guy who had, I think, the second most successful tour of any artist of all time last year. Like, it was Taylor Swift than him. Like,
that's because every ticket was $500, as Hughes.
But he's insanely. But I'm talking in sheer numbers.
And they both have the same arse.
They do.
But just in sheer numbers of people attending, like, across the globe. I mean, I still think he's very popular, and I don't think it had anything to do with just like the nature of who he is. And there's also been these other movies that have sort of like Blinded by the Light, these other movies that have had a connection to him that I think have done well. I just think, like, how do you market a movie like, oh yeah, this is gonna be about not one of his most famous albums. It's going to be about depression. It's going to be sad. And I just don't know if they really did a good job of selling the movie, to be honest. There was no real like grab, like no real scene. I think even, you mentioned a bunch of other music biopics like Bohemian Rhapsody, though. You see like, oh, we're going to see Live Aid. And like, that's kind of what gets you in the theater or 8 Mile. If that counts as like a music biopic, like, oh, we're going to see Eminem, like, be Eminem or whatever. Or Rocket Man, like, he's going to be at Dodger Stadium. Like, there's a bunch of something that gets you in the door. I don't think that this movie ever had that. And I know Bruce has been kind of like out there promoting it. I don't know. Like, I just don't know if they really are putting as much behind this movie as they did.
Well, yeah,
with
no, and
Bob Dylan
I
movie.
think that was Dan's point. And Dan, I'm sorry, as a proud Canadian, if you were triggered when he mentioned Dodger Stadium. I apologize. I didn't know that was going to happen. The one pun said, "I'd rather watch Born in East LA." I love that movie.
Hey,
Yeah, that movie's great.
Born in
Yeah.
East LA is fantastic. When Paul Rodriguez hears the phone ringing behind the picture of Jesus repeatedly. So domestic, we're talking 22 million. With a worldwide of 42 million.
Oof.
And the movie has been out for quite some time. But I don't know. So it's been out for not quite a month, but pretty close to it. So yeah, I would say that you have to just point at it and say this was not a success. But to Dan's point, they probably weren't looking for, Bohemian Rhapsody numbers, 8 Mile numbers. Again, Tom Gully, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story is the greatest musical biopic of all time. I think we all knew that.
yeah.
Although Ian jumps in with Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny is the greatest musical biopic of all time. I agree to disagree.
All good films. All good films.
Dewey Cox really might have. It really might have ruined music biopics, honestly, for me. Because I'm like, yeah, they all fall in those cliches, and this movie does. You think it's not going to, and then it kind of does.
Carol Duran, the fat black singer. I love the Weird Al biopic. I thought it was really fun because you want to talk about something that kind of skewers the conventions. And before we get to Hughezy, one last from the chat: is it a sequel to Eddie and the Cruisers? It's not, unfortunately. Go ahead, Hughezy.
But I'm going to say I think Ryan's wrong about Walk Hard because that was showing you that someone was able to learn how to play guitar even though they had no sense of smell. Like I thought that was Walk Hard. Like that's just a story about true struggle. So you should apologize.
Okay, of course.
I'm a Dewey Cox. Yeah.
Talk about Dewey Cox. Any final thoughts on the movie? Ryan, you jumped in. Bill, do you want to have any final thoughts? Do you think you would give this a rewatch, either theatrically or streaming? I don't know.
Well, when I watched it, I go, Christian has met Max Weinberg and loves him. That's the whole time I was watching.
So cool.
Yeah, Christian loves Max Weinberg.
Anybody who has known me for a long time, you'll hear me talk about my time in 30 Rock. And there's two people I talk about how much I love. Chris Kattan and Max Weinberg, my two favorite people that I've ever had anything to do with. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that, Bill.
Yeah,
I was so glad that Max was barely in this movie. That always helps, by the way.
Or Clarence Clemens, for that matter.
Well, no, that I'm not happy about. But
I know, like live, well,
yeah,
you gotta be kidding. Okay,
no, right, exactly. So, all right, I'm gonna bring another comment in from the chat. Great movie, Spinal Tap 1. I enjoyed Spinal Tap 2, but again, it's also a movie that didn't make a ton of money.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No.
Did you really like Spinal Tap 2? I didn't see it.
So yeah, I watched it and I'm like, oh, these bits are funny. There's some funny. I like to spend time with those characters.
It's 82 minutes.
Yeah, throughout the entire 82 minutes, I'm like, they didn't need to make this. And look, I don't know that it needed to be a theatrical release, but I was happy to visit with those characters and the cameos. Paul McCartney really worked, and I thought that the Elton John cameo was actually really funny.
And it ended way too abruptly. There should have been a different ending.
Yeah, well, it felt
Spoiler alert.
It felt like the Monty Python and the Holy Grail in the way it was just, okay, we're just done.
Yeah.
Well, that is because I don't know if you read this. There actually is a third film out next year, and it's called the End or something.
The end of the I know what you're saying. I think it's a more performance.
So there's a third out next year.
So I thought that this was a bit too much of a niche topic. So let
me get my final thought in.
I'm sorry, Dan. That's very, very anti-Canadian of me.
Yeah, it is.
AKA I mean, come rude. On. It was very rude that I didn't give you a chance. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, listen, the reason the movie is called Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere is because the studio realized that there was a limited audience that was going to go see it. It was never going to make more than $30 million. The limited audience was focused on the Springsteen aspect of it. If it was a better movie, more interesting to a wider appeal audience, it would have just been called Deliver Me From Nowhere. Sure. But by putting the Springsteen name on there, which I'm not sure was contractual to whatever contract Bruce made for the movie, but putting Springsteen on there limited the audience. And to me, I will watch it again. Again, as I said, though, probably not a dozen times.
Not a dozen times. But I do know that there are movies you do tend to watch a dozen times. Ghostbusters, just off the top of my head, just picking one. But in talking about this movie and, putting this panel together, and I do appreciate all of you taking the time to join me to talk about this, I realized, it's a bit of a narrow reach. So I wanted to let everybody also come and talk about their favorite Bruce album, but Dan popped out because I think maybe he thought I was wrapping up the show. I actually don't think he thought that. I was going to let Dan go first because I was so rude and didn't give him his. All right, Dan, you're back. I wanted to let you go first, and I wanted you to talk about your favorite Bruce album that you had two. One of them comes up in a moment, and it was Tunnel of Love, which I'm showing in the only format it's worth listening to, of course.
Oh. Much like all of us, I'm sure our favorite Bruce album changes over the course of time.
Correct.
Sometimes it's Greetings, sometimes it's Born in the USA, other times it's the Covers album. No, I'm just kidding about the Covers album. But for me, the record that I keep coming back to over and over again is Tunnel of Love. And I mean, I remember buying it at the time when it came out and being disappointed there was no real Bruce Springsteen songs on it, like no hard rocking driving songs except for Spare Parts. But over the years, the songs like Walk Like a Man have like Independence Day is one of my favorite songs, and I guess I gravitate toward the songs about his dad, which is why, of course, I wrote the book 11 Seconds with Bruce Springsteen about my meeting with Bruce and how much it made me closer to my late father.
Continue holding it up. Hold it up again so that everyone
there
can
you go.
see it. I know. This is I do love that you wrote a book about your 11 seconds with Bruce
Yes.
Springsteen.
11
So
Seconds
cool.
with Bruce Springsteen, not available online or at Amazon, but you can buy it at the Mark Maron shop. But the fact that Walk Like a Man keeps coming up and keeps coming back, and then the fact that it ends with Valentine's Day, which could or couldn't be about Julianne Phillips, but it's likely about Patty, because by that point him and Patty were an item. And then the Tunnel of Love tour, which I never saw but have seen so many highlights of. It just looks like it would have been a fun way to experience this record live. But to me, when you ask me right now, in addition to Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is my favorite Bruce Springsteen album, I just jumped in Tunnel of Love, and I'll stand by that.
No, I appreciate that. And look, there are no wrong answers here, although Hughezy gave me a controversial one when I first asked him, but I think that there is a chance that was a bit of a joke. By the way, Tom Gully points out, if this is actually Lemmy's birthday, happy birthday. So our friend Little Lemmy, it's apparently her birthday today. And Hughezy, I don't know about you, but we've known Lemmy for a while. I think personally, I'm honored that she chose to spend her birthday in this chat with us, and I'm going to assume she's not a Bruce Springsteen fan, but you go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, Lemmy. But
happy birthday, Lemmy.
We appreciate you being there. Any special heartfelt thoughts you want to share with Lemmy, Hughezy?
Yes, the streets of Philadelphia is about AIDS.
No.
I was just like, oh my God, well, he's going to definitely figure out a way to work the word fart box into there. But then you know what? Hughezy, you do always surprise. That's why a famous comedian's older sister seems smitten with you, but I don't want to dox anyone. So Dan mentioned in passing that, he had two albums that, he would mention. And the other one was already called Dibs by, of course, the great Bill Narducci, and also on the format where it sounds best, cassette.
Beautiful.
Darkness on the Edge of Town. Nothing like which, by the way, this may actually still be the only way I have this. I don't know that I upgraded to a CD at any point.
Wow.
Look, there are some things you just you appreciate the way you fell in love with them. But just take a moment, Bill, and talk a little bit. I mean, it starts with Badlands, so we could probably just stop there. But the beauty is we don't have to. We do not have to stop there.
There's an amazing documentary, and it's free on Tubi called "The Promise: The Making of Darkness on the Edge of Town." It's better than the movie. You see the real Bruce and how he put everything into this album. And if it didn't work out, he would have been at millions of dollars in debt living in Asbury Park. So if you're an artist and you're losing faith and you're wondering, like, what am I doing with your life? Just watch it, because you can see what a risk taker Bruce was, and how, like, it didn't stop him. He was fighting with his old manager, and that was always on the cusp of the making of this album. And what I also love about it, even though I spent many years down the Jersey Shore, it's not really a Jersey Shore album. So it has like a special place in my heart. But check it out on Tubi, The Promise, The Making of Darkness on the Edge of Town.
I will second that. That's a tremendous documentary. I am a sucker for music documentaries, much less than music biopics. It can be an album I don't even know or aren't interested in, and usually they can be pretty fascinating. But
and the footage is
album,
amazing. Yeah. I don't know how they had this footage.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
VHS, yeah.
Yeah. So, by the way,
and the band's in it as well. The entire band.
Yep.
Bill, what is the quintessential Jersey Shore album? The only one that comes to mind for me is Bon Jovi, "Slippery When Wet." I can't imagine what is like. What's the most Seaside Heights album? Not to get too niche, Brian. I don't know why I keep calling you Brian. I'm sorry, Ryan. I've known you for like
all good, years. All good.
Yeah, but Ryan's smiling because Delaware kid. He knows what's going on. What is the ultimate Jersey Shore album, Bill?
It's either "Greetings from Asbury Park" or "In Excess Kick."
Now, In Excess Kick is, it's got like 6 top 10 singles in there, and the album tracks are equally as good. It's we're 2 years away from 2027. I need to do a deep dive on the albums of 1987. And
May
In
I?
Excess Kick is one of them. Yes, please.
May I do my Michael Hutchins joke?
Sure. Let me go ahead and Let's hang on for a second, everybody, before Hughezy does his Michael Hutchins joke. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. It didn't really work the way I wanted it.
There he is.
There he is. Okay.
So in CSI Miami, it starts off with Horatio telling his joke before "Don't Get Fooled Again" kicks in.
Sure.
Well, I always imagined that they find the corpse of Michael Hutchins and he goes, "Well, I guess this time the chicken choked back."
Oh,
you're all welcome for being taken off screen during that.
I guess. Thank you.
Maybe this time the devil was outside. See, I don't know. That's just off the top of my head. I know.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. So, In Excess Kick, a great Jersey Shore album. I think that's the takeaway from.
Well, I guess what he needed tonight was a longer belt.
All right. Just to move you on, you, Hughezy, you picked Magic.
I'm so excited to hear about this.
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on Magic.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd just like to say about Darkness on the Edge of Town. I'd love to have been there for the meeting of the album cover shoot where they just said, "Stand beside the cupboard." And I go, "Yeah, okay."
That's actually his house. That's actually his house.
Yeah, but it's it's not well centered. Is that what you're going for? Are you giving art direction to the cover to Darkness on the Edge of Town, Hughezy?
But then you compare it to the cover of Magic, and it's like, what was the alternative idea?
Same shirt.
Yeah. But no, so this album, see, I'm a relatively recent Bruce Springsteen fan, and that, like, I knew the obvious ones like Dancing in the Dark and Born the SA and stuff like that, but I'd really never listened to him. And then I have a friend, ironically, the guy that I went to see Bob Dylan with last night, who had literally every Bruce Springsteen song ever and all these high quality bootlegs on his Xbox. And when we would go there for drinks or pre-drinks, he would always be playing Bruce Springsteen, and he'd always end up yelling at me because I would be saying, "Who's this song by? Who wrote this?" And he's like, "It's Bruce Springsteen." "Oh, what about this one?" "Bruce Springsteen." So I almost get my head kicked in while my mind was being expanded at the same time. And then the Tuesday after I had heard all these songs for the first time, the Radio Nowhere single was released, or the video came out. Then the album Magic came out about a few weeks later, and then within a month, the Magic tour was announced, and he happened to be playing Belfast on my birthday. So within like a 30-day period, I went from really not knowing Bruce Springsteen to being absolutely obsessed.
Ugh.
And this album, and one of the problems that I think with Bruce and with a lot of big established artists is that the modern stuff is looked over just because it's modern. And when this album came out, I thought this is absolutely brilliant. Like nearly every song on it is great. It's got that sort of old. It's basically like Born to Run, but with the way bigger budget. And I just thought this album and the tour was fantastic, and really it was mostly downhill from then on. I think that Working on a Dream is an unbelievable pile of shit. It's fucking terrible. It's quite obvious a bunch of leftover songs.
One of the things I love about doing a show with you, Hughezy, is that when I think I know the words that are about to come out of your mouth, something completely different follows it. So thank you. Anyway, go ahead, finish your thought. I'm sorry, sir.
So I think that Working on a Dream was a bunch of leftover songs that he had from this album session, but it's just that the tour was so massively successful. They were like, "Hey, we need to get right back out there." So they went out and did
and he was playing the Super Bowl. He wanted to put a record out for the Super Bowl.
Lucky us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where we would be without Girl in the Supermarket.
Yeah, well, we'd be listening to Bad Bunny's new album probably.
Yeah. I'm kidding, of course.
Yes. I appreciate the explanation there.
Yeah, and the true tragedy of this album is that when Springsteen goes on tour and you get all the people in the pit and like old, like immediate friends catching up, and that's the one album you always hear people say it's his most underrated, and it's a shame that none of those songs appear in his sets at all anymore. Like, as far as I know, I've
heard Radio Nowhere, but I think the rest, no. Yeah,
and I just think it's such I think that album is brilliant, and I have it on vinyl somewhere,
but not 8-track is what you're saying.
I don't think so.
So there's a request from our co-host Bill to make sure that I get to this, which is actually very funny, from Goody Two Shoes. You all look like Bruce fans, that's for sure. I take that as a compliment, and that was the one that you were making sure that I got to, right, Bill? Is it true that it's also going to be your birthday very soon, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we didn't sing to Lemmy, so we won't sing to you. But happy birthday!
Thank
coming
you.
up.
Happy birthday!
Yes, much appreciated. So Ryan,
yes,
I did give everybody what other albums had been chosen, so I didn't want any double up.
No worries.
But you picked, much like I picked an obscure one that most people don't have. Ryan picked Born in the USA. So
yeah,
look at that fart box.
That's not where I thought I was going to get
America's
the word fart box out of you. Yeah. Don't know if I feel like the red hat makes a different statement than it did 40 years ago. But
Phillies fan.
And right.
I know what you're talking about.
He is that part of Jersey. So yeah. So talk a little bit about an album that, we're talking earlier that this movie wasn't necessarily for the casual Bruce fans. Casual Bruce fans probably have this album, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is no skips.
Yeah.
This is like every song's amazing. I think he's got 4 perfect albums and then like 5 great albums after that. This is one of those perfect albums where just start to finish, incredible. I like in the movie, we get to, they talk about even doing Nebraska and this kind of at the same time. But like, I mean, just there are songs where you like from the second it starts, you're like electrified. With Born in the USA, I mean, I'm on Fire, No Surrender, Bobby Jean. Like these are songs that like I listen to maybe every week. Like they're perfect. I mean, Dancing in the Dark, like I don't know. There's no albums like today that have the quality, I feel like, of an album like this. But yeah, I mean, my favorites change.
Sure.
Every listen. I mean, there was one year where like Bobby Jean was definitely my favorite. And that just because like I mean we're a lot talking about like our families. Like I'm a big fan because my dad was a big fan or is a big fan. And until I saw him live, I was like, oh my god, I get it. And then ever since 2012, it's been like the thing for me. I've seen him I think like 7 times, and if he plays a song off of this, I will freak out. But No Surrender is probably my favorite. I actually saw him in Philly, and there was a guy who had a sign that was like he basically wrote out the tab, of like I can play No Surrender on guitar, and he brought him on stage.
Oh, cool.
And they both performed like No Surrender, and they let the kid like sing, and the whole crowd we lost it. It's just like chills. Like I don't know, every version of this, every song here means something. I feel like to everyone in a different way. You connect to whether it's like My Hometown. I mean, it's very nostalgic. Like you're just thinking of happy times, good times, even or just making like even work, sound like kind of glamorized in a beautiful way. It just, I mean, take a song like Downbound Train, like they're all Glory Days. Like,
yeah,
you can't really miss with this one.
Glory Days is actually the life soundtrack for someone that Hughezy and I are familiar with very well, but this show isn't about them, so we're not going to actually mention his name and any of the past jobs he had with the Tonight Show or the Howard Stern Show. But what I do want to talk about is Hughezy. When I first wrote to you, I need to ask, were you putting me on, or do you actually legitimately enjoy Western Stars very much?
I absolutely loved Western Stars.
I thought you did. That's why I took the 8 seconds to grab a still. Talk a little bit about Western Stars before I reveal my obscure deep cut of a favorite album.
Well, I like the fact that it's his second album to show an arse on the cover.
Oh my god,
that's always good.
Okay, you know what? I didn't think of it that way.
That is hilarious.
That's not what I hear, Christian. But yeah, no, because I remember when Working on a Dream came out, and it was I hated it. I thought it was crap. It's the only Springsteen album where there's nothing on it that I like.
Okay.
Then what followed that? It was Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, which has stuff on it that I like, but overall, it's not a must-have. High Hopes is shit. I bought it at the time and was excited at the time, but it has aged really badly. There's a few things on it like so. When this came out, I bought it because I'm a collectionist or a completionist or whatever the word is. Sure. I don't know. But I absolutely love this, and like that the first song on it, Hitchhiking, and you just listen to it, and it's just like I'm hitchhiking down the road, and then as this massive orchestra slowly kicks in, and you sit forward and you go, what the fuck is this? This isn't just like a Devils and Dust sort of acoustic album. Like this is a full like an epic scale thing, and I just thought absolute masterpiece. I love this album.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
Agree. Like I think you're nailing something where it's like the thing that's amazing about him is he's always like trying new shit. Pardon my language, so I don't know if we can swear. He's always trying things. Yeah, he's always trying stuff. Like I mean, we joked earlier that he released like a Motown cover album, but like that's cool. Like no one his age does that. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to release this.
Well, you've apparently never heard the great Aerosmith album, Honkin' on Bobo. That's all blues covers. That was of course you haven't. I only mentioned it to make Hughezy laugh.
But it's just what a cool, I'm going to do like a solo album, and I'm going to have an orchestra, and we're going to record it in my barn, and it's all going to be like about getting older.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest, his barn is probably bigger than my ballroom.
But it's not bigger than your home cinema that you have there, Hughezy, which I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet.
What? You have a home cinema?
This is the rare stream where it hasn't come up. We're an hour in, and you haven't mentioned your home cinema. Are you trying to respect and not upset Tony from Hack the Movies, who I'm sure is watching?
I didn't want to take away the attention from Remi's birthday. I want her to be the focus on her birthday, not my brilliant home cinema. Thank you.
Much appreciated. So Tom Gully mentioned this earlier. I'm not sure it's the best Bruce album, but his favorite is Greetings from Asbury Park. Again, No wrong answers. A case can be made for The River or Live 1975, 1985. I'm not. I don't get as excited about live albums as some people do. But I'm not saying that that's a bad one. But it's not what I think of. Like when I want to hear Bruce live, there's a few shows that probably ones I've been to. I'm not going to lie, but I'm more likely to bring that up. What were you going to say, Hughezy?
Yeah, the live 75 to 85, they need to re-release that or remaster it because it's actually quiet.
Oh,
Like even there's times when I'm listening to it when I'm lifting heavy weights with no strain at all. You know how it is, guys. And you have it up at maximum volume and it's just quiet. Like we need a proper remastered version or an official Born in the SA tour live album. Thank you.
So you need the tour and the live album. You're asking for both of those things.
Yeah, and just while I'm rambling on, did anyone remember how during the pandemic it leaked that somebody had leaked fully remastered HD footage from a professionally filmed Born in the SA tour? So it looked like that was coming out on Blu-ray or something. And I don't know why they just says, oh, cancel it. Instead, we got a covers album instead. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's what I would have paid 190 quid to go see Bruce sing a fucking Night Shift cover and not hear I'm on Fire.
By the way, when the 1975 to 1985 live album comes out, I think of the album cover, but I immediately always think of the Mad Magazine parody of the album cover because this was in the sweet spot where I was like, wait a minute, this issue has a parody of Peggy Sue Got Married and Perfect Strangers. Take my money because this is the sweet spot of Mad Magazine for me. So
Wow.
and not enough shout outs for Albert E. Newman, I think. So, yes, as we start to wind down, I will mention that it was hard for me to not pick The River. And it almost feels like it's cheating because there are so many songs on it and it's so long. And, you were talking, Hughezy, about being in the pit and people, being very knowledgeable at a Bruce show about stuff they're not playing. So, when in 2016, he did the River tour where they did the River in its entirety. And then also, at least the show in LA, also played an additional 2.5 hours. There was a guy that I'd been talking to, and I guess he had no idea that they were playing the River in sequence because, you get to a point on side 4, I guess, where, there aren't as many familiar songs, you beautiful, brilliant songs. And, I guess, I don't know how else you can market this by saying I'm doing a tour of the River. It's not, it was however many years later. I don't know. I'm really bad with the math. 25 years later, I think I came up with that. And then not realize that that's what's happening. But I think that prior to that show, I might have picked a different one, but also you guys picked some great ones. I still feel like this is tremendous. It's, again, it's cheating. If you're doing one of those Desert Island discs, I'm going to bring this as my Bruce album because of how many songs are on it.
83 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't need to bring, the special edition that of course I have, in the city tonight and everything. I don't need to bring that one. I can just bring I'll play by the rules for the most part. Dan, did you get to go to any of those River shows? I felt like you did, and if I didn't, I'll have egg on my face.
I saw the River tour in its entirety 5 different times. It was. I had taken that year off, and there were so many shows, and the tickets were. I don't think I paid more than $120 for a ticket. And I saw it. I saw it at Penn State. I saw it in Cleveland. I saw it in Toronto. Yeah, I saw 5 different shows that tour.
Yeah, I remember you. I don't think I remember that it was 5, but yeah, that was before somebody sat down and explained dynamic pricing to Bruce. You could still go, and it would be at least a reasonably priced ticket. But I know. Bill, myself, and Ryan. Although Ryan, we didn't see you at the show, but we were all at the forum. Was that earlier this year or earlier last year?
Last year.
Yeah. So
Twice,
still
oh
at
my
it.
gosh, incredible story, by the way. That show, I went to both. And one of them was just like, I was in the pit, and then the other I was in the stands. But in the pit, there was like a kid, first show, had a sign, first show, and he like gave him his harmonica right in front of me. And that was amazing. I was like, oh, wow.
You didn't tackle the kid and steal the harmonica?
Kid, yeah, I mean, honestly, it was actually just really special to watch, because I was like, that kid's a fan for life. Like, it's instantly.
Hughezy, would you have kicked the kid in the ankles, grabbed the harmonica, and run?
I didn't need a harmonica to kick a kid. But by the time the River anniversary tour came to Europe, they had dropped the whole concept of playing the River in full. And that drove me nuts, because my second favorite Springsteen song is Stolen Car.
Ooh.
Yeah. And at the time, I thought, this is what I want to hear, is the more obscure album tracks played live.
Yeah.
But instead, he went back to the Waiting on a Sunny Day Rising pile of shit.
Dan heard that live 5 times on that tour.
Yeah, and I got to see him play at the closing shows of the Spectrum in Philly. I got to see him play, Ryan, this was a shout out for you. I got to see him play Born in the USA from start to finish as well. That was an amazing night.
Oh yeah, well, I have a home cinema.
I was at the final show ever at the LA Sports Arena, which
yes, you were. I still have the cup.
That's right. I forgot I sent you the cup. Yeah. Oh my God. Of course. Dan's like, I can get my hands on it. And yeah, it's all right. Hold on. I'm so glad I saved that for you. We'll share it with our audience in due time. Yeah. The dump that jumps. And that place was a dump, but he always wanted to play there because I think he played at what was then Staples Center once. And I believe his feeling was that it was one of the worst venues he'd ever played in. Is a terrible venue for acoustics.
I can't believe I can't believe this little cup was once full of beer, though. And how much did you pay for this?
I don't think that's really the point. Remember how I sent it to you? I may have 2 more of those here at my house. That's why I was able to send you one.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I have cup holders in my home cinema.
So one of my favorite people, OG Mumbling Nick, just got here. Bruce was my first musical hero as a young child. He's still my top 5 all these years later. I'm sure the Oasis brothers are 1 and 2. The River is a great double album. Dark Side Edge of Town is a masterpiece. Well, we did talk about that already. And anybody who wants to enjoy Darkness on the Edge of Town, they definitely need to take the time to enjoy it the way it was intended on cassette, as I said earlier. And, I went through all that effort. I just want to make sure that there's definitely there's a lot of people involved in the chat. And Hughezy, I'm sorry you didn't make any super chats on this stream.
I'm used to it.
Well, I guess not. But if people do want to give you super chats on your own stream, what's going on over there on Hughezy Entertainment these days?
Well, if I will be doing a stream later on tonight. For those that know about the Dabbleverse, it's gotten, and I know I say this all the time, but it's gotten darker and more serious. There's a darkness on the. Oh, we've already done that one, but so there's like lawsuits coming out. And
possible warrants,
like threats of violence and all this ridiculous stuff. So we will be doing an episode about that later on, including birthday girl Lemmy. So all donations will, of course, be shared with Lemmy.
There you go.
So make sure to donate all the red boys, and they'll all go straight to Lemmy.
All right, I'm going to send her this clip, although I know she's in the chat, so she's going to have to hold you to that.
And not to brag, but I will also be joined by, that's right, Shmuel Bachman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's great. I appreciate not getting the invite for that one. But we did something last week, which is there on the channel.
You can come on if you'd like, but you have to watch your language.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the problem. And by the way, because I mentioned you got no super chats, this is not technically a super chat, but Michaela, remember for 1 month, this was free. So give Lemmy half of the membership, I think is the way to do that. And you mentioned Shmuel, and Goody Two Shoes says, I'm in. Bill, you have a few different shows on your YouTube channel. Let everybody know what they are and where they can find you.
So we have a YouTube show called Flickaholics. We have a movie trivia show called Stump the Bill. And then we have a show called The Ejectables, where people talk about movies that they don't get the credit they deserve. And then we have another show called Jump Scare Rewind, where the host Ian talks about horror movies, and another show called No Small Roles, where Ian talks to various actors and the roles they played.
And the episode of Flickaholics that I was on, I brought the greatly underappreciated The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, starring Andrew Dice Clay, and I stand by that. And I'm just going to pretend that I never did any episodes of Stump the Bill, and that way is easier because I may not have done well. Ryan Nilsen, what do you have going on these days?
I mean, I'm on Instagram, Ryan Nilsen _ and X or Twitter, Ryan Nils.
Yeah. Well, whenever I want to know how people are feeling about the Eagles or the Phillies, I go right to your Instagram because I'm going to get the pulse. You're right on the pulse. You're always right there.
I'm on the pulse.
Yeah, you always know what's
the
happening.
Culture. I know what's going on. I'm ear to the ground. Big Dallas game this Sunday.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you can follow me there, and I always love talking Bruce, and yeah, shout out Oasis. We'll have to talk about that, Hughezy.
And Dan Reynish, I'm going to let you promote whatever you'd like, including your incredible collection of pop vinyls and that great cup you showed earlier.
You know, I've become respectable. I'm now a city councilor here in the city of Medicine Hat. I ran for election and won.
Wow.
Thanks to everybody that voted for me. So I am a city councilor, but I'm still doing things for my YouTube channel. Dan Reynish is where you can find me on all the social streams. And go Blue Jays. That was very hurtful, but I guess I have the Leafs and the Raptors are doing fairly well. But yeah, that Christian gave me some condolences for the.
I did mention that I wasn't rooting. You know, I mean, my team wasn't in it, and I was still traumatized by that World Series. Just the way that it unfolded. And Ryan, you know about traumatizing ends to seasons this past year, so it's brutal. But that is why we watch.
I was at that game.
Oh, the game at Dodger Stadium,
where he threw home.
Yeah,
instead of first when you're a professional baseball player.
So yeah. That was a day that I checked on your emotions. I wanted to make sure you're doing all right. But hey, maybe we'll get that Born in the USA tour next year, Hughezy. In any case, you can subscribe, BLADTCAST. We have a YouTube channel. We also have an audio feed, and the audio feed, I might sneak some Bruce music in there, but I would never do that on YouTube because, you know, there's copyrights and all that.
They'll catch it.
You go find all of it, though. That's the thing. You want to hear a Bruce song, you'll be able to hear it very easily and very quickly. So please go right ahead. And of course, you can find me all over the Geekscape network, talking about Marvel and other things. And every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, Who Are These Broadcasters on the Who Are These Podcasts network. We'll be doing our big Thanksgiving special, which is once a year. I find an excuse to show the footage from the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade when the Barney balloon popped in 1997. It's a favorite of my kids, so I'll make sure that we get that in there. And you can find me on social media at Christian DMZ. Thank you all for being here and talking Bruce. And our next episode is 666. And all I can say is we have something very special planned. But make sure you surround yourself in a circle of salt before you listen to it. But that is all the time we have for now. We'll see you next time on the Bladtcast.